Worthy's tricky. Okay, obviously I would do Worthy then Watson.
Yeah.
What I'm asking of Xavier Worthy is 700 of the greatest 700-yard seasons we've ever seen, which is over the top, on their heads, like 6-7 touchdowns that are just extremely memorable, and you're doing a lot more for Travis Kelce than your stat line suggests, right?
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank. If you're thinking about starting a business or know someone who is, check out Emprise Bank's SBA loans. It's always good to know your options, and they can be your partner in possible.
21 questions here, presented by Braden's Hope. Did you know that 47 children are diagnosed with cancer every single day in the U.S. alone? At Braden's Hope for childhood cancer, we are working to make a difference in the fight against childhood cancer. Braden's Hope funds cutting-edge research to find cures and safer, more targeted treatments for childhood cancers, but they can't do it alone. Join us in the fight against childhood cancer. Your support can bring hope to families and save lives. Visit bradenshope.org to learn more and get involved. Together, we can make a difference. I'm Kid Swanson. I'm here with Nate Taylor. Nate, I am quite excited to do 21 questions with you. I know we've tried to do it in the past. We finally are getting connected on this one.
Yes.
I feel like Briscoe gets thrown into the rotation a lot for 21 questions. Like he's just like the default at this point. It's like, let's see what Josh is doing. But I'm really excited that we're getting to do this one.
Yeah, I'm excited too, because thank the Lord the preseason's over for the Kansas City Chiefs. Thank God. I mean, we're going to get back to our normal lives, Kent, which is watching, quality football team, which I guess doesn't have the depth that they normally do. But no, man, I'm doing well. I'm happy that we get the weekend to watch all the other nonsense going on.
Well, I mean, like with the Chiefs' schedule and like them playing every day except like Tuesday, we're going to get a few Sundays to ourselves this year, I think.
Yes. I hadn't even thought about that. Yes, I'm just like, oh yeah, that whole thing, the 3 games in 11 days or whatever. Oh yeah, that thing.
We got the first Wednesday game in the history of the league. We got a Thursday night sprinkled in, a Friday sprinkled in. Like we're gonna have some Sundays to ourselves. So I'm looking forward to that. 21 questions. We get a lot of questions from the KCSN Discord. You get on the KCSN Discord by subscribing to KCSN Substack. We got some great ones here. The first one, John does stuff. Best KCSN ketchup and relish racers to take on reigning champ Nate Lyles of Condiments Taylor, and who wins? Who's getting in there, Nate? Who's your challengers in KCSN?
Out of our group, I mean, you're a former athlete, right? I mean, you want to get in a sweaty suit. I mean, you want to get a sweaty hot suit.
I might try to open it up a little bit, see what happens. Yeah.
And I think what I learned. This all happened on Monday. What I learned racing in this hot dog suit is that if you are tall, you have quite the advantage because like the suit really restricted like my stride because I'm about 5'10", and so if you're like 6'2", your legs are going to have a lot more clearance to get through this silly suit. So I don't know who's the tallest in our group.
Well, Craig is 6'5".
Is he fast?
No.
Well, that's a problem.
Nate, I do have a question for you. This is
sure.
How tall do you think Matthew Lane is by any chance?
I would say I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, 6'2".
Okay, good. So some people think he's 5'8".
Really? No.
There was a faction of people that thought, like, without ever seeing Matt in public, that he was 5'8". And it's my favorite thing ever when someone thinks he's just this little,
scrawny guy. Yeah.
So I did 5'8" people, by the way. Sorry, Seth.
Like, I mean, when you haven't seen somebody's lower body, that could be anything. Yeah, I get that. I know that I'm faster than Seth. I know that I'm faster than Josh. So, like, out of the whole like group, I'm pretty sure I could beat BJ, although, like, again, I don't know what he's been doing in the gym lately. So yeah, man, I feel good. Maybe it's you and Craig. In the race. I was just thrilled that I could walk the next day. Ladies and gentlemen, ask yourself this question. When was the last time you sprinted?
Oh,
like full on, I gotta giddy up and go.
It's been a minute.
I mean, a couple, like that was the equivalent of like a couple blocks,
Sure. It's a good little run.
Yeah, it's a good little run from the bullpen basically to like first base. Yeah, just ask yourself that. So if you think you can run in this race, just ask yourself, when's the last time I had to go, like, there was a fire essentially, or Cody taps in front of me.
Hey, I had a question. Have you ever done the current soccer game?
No, I want to. So I want to. The timing hasn't worked out. I would have done it. I can't remember if it was current or if it was sporting. I would have done it this year had me and Holly not gone on our Europe vacation trip.
Whatever.
Just a once in a lifetime thing before training camp started. 1 year I did do it. I signed up, got my jersey. Shout out to Danny, with the current, and then I got COVID right after training camp ended, and I couldn't play. So as someone who's also played soccer in high school, I coached my kids' little, third grade soccer team in the spring. I would love to do it. It's just the timing hasn't worked out. I was gonna say that was my, like, I've done it a couple years. I missed this year, but like that's like the next day. I'm like, oh, I'm a little sore from that.
It's just,
Wow, these professional athletes. I mean, I need a masseuse. I need a physical therapist.
There was 1 year me and Briscoe were on different teams, but just walking together
down the pitch,
hanging, just chilling,
Look at people look at us.
We're just living our best life,
Yeah.
It was a good time. We got this question from Simu7, and boy, it's a little mean, but did Nate get a chance to say goodbye to LRZ?
I love that people are so in on this. Ladies and gentlemen, so again, some unusual circumstances last night. On one end, it involves Douglas Coleman, the safety for the Chicago Bears, who needed to be stabilized, carted off the field. He was, he got sent to a local hospital. Because our Chicago Bears writers, did not travel for obvious reasons, their third preseason game, I went and actually talked to Matt Eberflus just to get an idea of if there was any update on the situation. Unfortunately, there isn't. We'll have to kind of see where it goes. But obviously a very scary situation, and it's just another reminder of how, brutal the sport can be sometimes. But then when I went back to the Chiefs locker room, I did not see Lewis. I will see him on Monday. I will gently and warmly embrace him on Tuesday before they undoubtedly waive him. And I thought he looked as good as anybody can look in a 3-game stretch where they've never played organized football at any level. Go ahead and do it in the NFL. He's got so many career opportunities in front of him, mostly modeling. He can always go back. Yeah, he's so handsome. The handsome and the accent is insane. Obviously Tucker says that I'm infatuated with LRZ. Yes. And look, I look forward to telling him that he had a great couple months in Kansas City. I'm assuming he'll be back on the practice squad. And they'll give him a whole nother year to sort of, see if he can improve or see how much he can improve between this preseason and next year's preseason. But no, I did not get a chance to tell him that I obviously love him and that I'm very proud of his effort. Given the fact that the moment I met this man in person, I said, "Oh, he's a pro. Do not let this make it on the 53." But it's not going to happen, unfortunately.
I do need to apologize to Nick because I didn't realize how infatuated he was with LRC before I gave my honest opinions of LRC right before the show.
No, it's totally fine.
I don't.
It's totally fine. I get it. I'm a realist.
Look, yeah, but
like,
look,
guy needs more time. He needs more. He needs more seasoning. More seasoning.
Sure, but like Swayze Bowman's wife isn't gonna want to hear my opinions on Swayze Bowman, right? So like, I could.
I've actually seen Swayze Bowman's wife
So-
quite a bit at training camp, and I was like, I didn't know you were married to him. But hey, how about it, Swayze? What a day!
She had like a giant like Swayze or Bozeman shirt, like I can't remember. Like, it was like his last name or his. I don't know.
Mostly Swayze. They're mostly swayzed out.
Swayzed out. She was. She definitely was.
She's swayzed out, and it's okay. I love like one of the more. I don't know if someone's gonna ask about Nico, but one of the sad things last night was just Nico being like, just shoulder shrugs. Just, I tried. I mean, you run routes for Chris Oladokin right now. You tell me how that's gonna go, man. I'm trying my best. That was the thing that like kind of broke my heart last night. Was guys can fully understand like the realities of the situation where it's like, man, I really did have it, especially when you have a chance, and it just doesn't work out. So LRZ come back to the practice squad. Hopefully Nico Remigio can be back on the practice squad as well. But I don't think either guy, for as much buzz and as much hype surrounding both of them, most notably yours truly, putting all the coals in those engines, it just didn't. We did not reach our destination with either one of those gentlemen.
Yeah, so Maddie's been leading the Remigio revolution on our show, and it's over.
I didn't know it was called Remigio's revolution.
Remigio revolution. He's trying to get that going.
I totally missed that episode when that happened, but yeah,
he's trying, but I think he's having some realistic expectations at this point.
He's a realist. He is.
Nate, what exotic pet would you want to have?
Not a crocodile. I'll tell you that. God bless that man. I mean, look, is it harder to take care of a crocodile, or is it actually harder to get tackled by an NFL player? I don't know. I mean, it's awesome. So maybe that's why Carson Steele breaks all these tackles, is because he's been used to almost getting bit by his own pet animal.
He just puts him in the living room and just tries to
works on his move.
Yeah. Some are saying
quickness. The exotic pet I would want is probably I guess it's not I don't want a dangerous one, please. I do not want to be Tiger King. I know there's this whole new documentary about this lady and her love affair for a chimpanzee.
Yikes.
They will rip your arms off, kids. So I'm thinking, like, what about a nice like red panda? Just a nice cuddly red panda.
Sure.
I'm not a bird person. I'm not gonna do like an exotic bird. I don't know. I'm more in like the red panda. I was really into Komodo dragons for quite a while.
Well, but those things are terrifying.
You don't want to do those either,
bro. Those things, like their saliva has so much bacteria, it's like essentially poisonous for you.
Yes. Yeah.
Those things are. Those things are. Those are bad dudes, man. Keep them in that one, like the one island that they exist on. Y'all can have it.
Yes. Some people will say, "What about a kangaroo?" And again, do you want to be punched in the throat?
No,
they'll punch you in the throat. Like they're not friendly, as the cartoon suggests.
I don't really know what I if a red panda's not gonna tear my like those little small. There's like smaller monkeys that are kind of calm and docile. I actually used to work for a moving company, and there was somebody with a pet monkey, and it was the cutest, funnest little thing, but it like stayed small, and it didn't like you talking about chimpanzees.
Yeah,
chimpanzees try to rip your butt cheeks out.
Yes.
Like that's literally what they try to do. They try to immobilize you. Like those are bad dudes. Those things are. I did not expect this to go where it's going here on 21 Questions, but maybe I should have. I don't know. I'll get a football question in here. Casey from KC, can McCole be a serviceable replacement for Hollywood Brown? I don't think so. I don't think they're a like-for-like player. I don't think there's like a true replacement for Hollywood. You might be able to get some routes from Xavier out of that, like some of it, not the entirety of it. Sky Moore does seem like someone that can fit in some of the Hollywood Brown stuff, though. But like, I think McCole's still more like your just gadget vertical guy. Like, I think he's more of a Xavier Worthy insurance type player than a Hollywood replacement.
Yeah, I think McCole Hardman has reached the career where he's boom or bust, right? You know, hey, let's not forget, kids. Andy and Matt Nagy in the divisional round said, you know what, that first jet sweep didn't go well. Let's try it again. If you need to be reminded, ladies and gentlemen, he fumbled twice. Fumbled the ball twice. So he'll be, again, much of the behind the line of scrimmage and go 40 yards downfield. I don't think he's going to do all the sophisticated routes, intermediate double moves that Hollywood Brown can do. I think that's more in the Justin Watson archetype. You know, hey, Justin Watkins can run some posts, some corners, maybe some sophisticated to some degree, you know, sit down routes in some voided zones. If you have Xavier Worthy or McCole sort of clearing things out, or if there's more of a emphasis on Travis Kelce, but there really is no one like Hollywood Brown, which is kind of the reason why they went out and, you know, signed him in the off season. It's just unfortunate that there's always been a injury history with Hollywood Brown. So I guess it's better to get it out of the way sooner rather than later. But I don't expect him to play against the Baltimore Ravens. I think that would be dangerous, given the severity of the injury, just how rare it is. But also, you can get by with Justin Watson and McCole Hardman and maybe Sky Moore for like 2 games, and then kind of reassess and bring Hollywood back.
I think it'll be fun because 2 of the biggest contenders in the AFC will not have seen the Chiefs with Hollywood Brown, most likely. So then when they come back, you know, so I think it'll be cool. Yes. Kyle C. asks, do Dave Toub's words for roster construction carry as much weight as they did 5 years ago?
No. Have you seen the depth on this roster? Ladies and gentlemen, it's not about anything Dave Toub's done wrong. Yep. It's just, I don't think the depth is nearly as good as it was 2 years ago and even last year, right? There's not even, like, you know, I don't know how he's doing in Washington, but there's no Nick Allegretti on this roster, guys. And Nick Allegretti played a pretty important role in the AFC Championship game and the Super Bowl in place of Joe Thuney. I guess Jaden Hicks could translate into being a Mike Edwards type, or better. Obviously, he's younger. But, like, you know, they still have a lot of holes, primarily on the 2 line in the trenches. So when it comes to like Dave Toub's ability, and this is going to be tricky too because of the new kickoff rule as well. I was thinking about that. I'm like, you kind of need to have, I don't care how poor they look in certain snaps, you need all 3 of those backup linebackers, in my opinion, just for the new kickoff rule. So that means Cam Jones, Cole Christensen, obviously. You know, Leo's going to be involved, but he's going to play a lot more, you know, defensive slash than we think normally. So that gives yourself a little bit of time to develop, you know, Jack Cochran a little bit too, because he's going to be the guy that mostly replaces Nick Bolton if Nick Bolton has, you know, lingering issues with his elbow throughout the rest of the season. So I think in some ways, because of the kickoff rule and the depth, there's not much of an argument for Dave Toub to really make. Even for someone like Nico Remigio, like we said, it's just like, you know, did he do it? Did he do enough to earn a spot? And if we're being somewhat harsh, but realistic, it's like, no, you probably need to keep Justin Ross because he gives you a skill set that no one else on the roster has at receiver, even though he's terrible at special teams. You can probably you can probably still get him back on the practice squad. And, you know, McCole Hardman and Sky Moore are probably your kickoff returners. who knows? Maybe McColl's the punt returner if they don't want to necessarily put too much of a workload on Xavier Worthy. But I just don't even know. Like, Irv Smith can play special teams, but also, like, you could just release Irv Smith and bring him back on the practice squad as well. So again, it's not like, I guess the question I have, Ken, is like, who is Dave Toll screaming at the top of his lungs in this meeting on Sunday that says we have to keep him because of the value he provides on special teams?
Yeah, there's not a ton. I mean, maybe a Deion Bush, but like, we'll see there. Like, you probably can get him on the practice squad because I think they got him on the practice squad this time last year.
Last year, yes.
I mean, now Deion Bush had a good year last year. He put together a nice little year, had that nice interception against Lamar in the, AFC Championship game. So maybe some teams, but like, he's a veteran that you could get back on there easily. So I don't know. I don't know how many tough, you're right. I don't know how many tough decisions there really are. Cause like this, the depth on it isn't great, and I need to tweet this out, but like, I think there's something to be said about how special last year's depth was on this team. And it's pretty abnormal. Like, that's an abnormal amount of depth on a football team. And they needed it all, except for receiver.
Right. Drew Tranquil was not a starter last year because they had Willie Gay.
Yeah.
They just rotated between the two of them. And it's just like, Willie's not here anymore.
Mike Edwards and Allegretti and everything but receiver. I can't emphasize that enough.
Yeah, why did Worska just fill in for Donovan Smith just because he could, as a rookie? I mean, there was, I mean, there's no Jarrett McKinnon. I mean, by the way, what happens if they call Jarrett McKinnon? Like, come on, man. Like, we're wasting everybody's time.
They should put him on the practice squad for a little bit.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, you are you're the most savvy veteran. Obviously, you were part of the last two championships. Everybody loves you. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you're still working out, man. Like, like what? Like, can we just? Hey, no off season, no training camp, no preseason. You've earned it. Just come on back, man.
Little break in case of emergency. Just come be a this guy. Like, and if we need you, we need you.
Exactly.
I love it.
Someone make that call.
He might be making that call. I mean, if Jarek wants it, maybe he's done. Ice Pyro asks if Justin Reed is day to day.
No, I think he's playing. I think he's fine. I know it was weird that. I mean, okay. Here's the greatest indication that Justin Reed's going to be fine for week 1. He said it on Twitter, X, whatever. Cool. He went back to showing his golf swing.
Mm-hmm.
He's back, guys. He's back. He's fine. Because the rumor was, and this is a rumor. Do not aggregate this. This is not official reporting, but it's like, hey, man, you've been swinging that club a little too hard, haven't you?
No.
Haven't you? Hey, between swinging the clubs hard and all that training, legs might have gotten overused. I'm just saying. But guess who's swinging the clubs again, boys?
I did see that, and I was like, if that's the case, and he's posted on that on social media, he is so not getting extended, and he knows it.
I hadn't even thought about that.
If he's out here, if the rumor is like, hey, this is a little golf injury, if that was the case, and like the first chance he gets, he's just showing everybody his living room setup where he's just letting it fly. Yeah, man. You are so not getting extension, are you? Like, it's just like, hey, what's up, team? I know this is my last year. What are you gonna do about it?
I mean, he's really good friends with Tyrann Mathieu, so I'm sure they even had that conversation a while ago, and he doesn't even have the same injury history that Tyrann Mathieu has. So, I mean, look, the team is more concerned, and I mean, I've been reporting this, but they're more concerned about, at the time, Harrison Butker, just because of the kicker market, and then they finally agreed to something with Creed Humphrey, even though I feel like it had been agreed to by like a week ago, and now they're trying to, and again, like agreed to in principle, I should say, but they're actually fully agree with all the details in place. But I think part of that is, and I've reported this as well, like we could be agreed to in principle because then we can sort of shift our attention and focus to Trey Smith. So just see if it's possible, right? Not to say it's going to actually happen, but they're trying to work that tandem, of course. And then, even Nick Bolton is probably a bigger guy on the list than Justin Reed, even though I don't know that Nick Bolton really wants to engage the Chiefs right now about a contract extension.
Vibes seem kind of like he's going to play this year out, ball out, and then try to get the bag the next year just because of the injury stuff. That's kind of what it seemed like with Bolton, at least.
Yeah, and I mean, it's unfortunate, like, just based on the position you play and who's your quarterback, like, the priority has to go to the guys who are protecting the greatest player in franchise history versus, hey, Chris Jones deserved all that money. They had to make a decision with L'Jarius Sneed, and the only way you're going to make close to your top end market is if you prove what you did in 2022 can be repeated in 2024 if you're Nick Bolton.
I think he's got to even do better than 2022 to get a big bag. I do.
Wow.
I do. Just the coverage stuff. Like, he's got to show more in coverage. I think that's the thing that separates those top guys, is if you have elite coverage and you show some chops there. I think that's kind of what winds up getting you in that echelon that he's hoping to get up to. But we're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network. Make sure you download our new app. Find it on the App Store or Google Play. Just search KC Sports Network.
With big wireless providers, what you see is never what you get. Somewhere between the store and your first month's bill, the price you thought you were paying magically skyrockets. With Mint Mobile, you'll never have to worry about gotchas ever again. When Mint Mobile says $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan, they mean it. Say bye-bye to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. Mint Mobile is here to rescue you with premium wireless plans starting at $15 a month. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone in any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with your existing contacts with you. Ditch overpriced wireless with Mint Mobile's deal and get 3 months of premium wireless service for $15 a month. To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/KCSN21. That's mintmobile.com/KCSN21. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/KCSN21. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
Entertain, educate, inform. KC Sports Network.
All right, continue rolling on here with Nate Taylor. B. Higgs asks, rank these pass catchers by yards this season, including the playoffs. Rashee Rice. Rashee, Xavier, Hollywood, Travis. The big four.
They should try to maintain Travis's body throughout the course of the season. So therefore, I still think he gets close to, if not another 1,000-yard season if he stays healthy. But I would probably say, again, and this is kind of depending on, like, it's crazy. Like, ladies and gentlemen, Rashee Rice should be suspended. There's video evidence of him running people into dangerous. He's behind the wheel of a car in broad daylight.
Fleeing the scene of a crime.
Almost killing people, yes. Then fleeing the scene of the crime. And then, yes, ladies and gentlemen, admitting guilt a couple of days later.
Let the legal process play out. Gotta let it play out, Nate.
While cooperating with the police department. Hey, yeah, that was me. That was me in the car. Why did you say that? I mean, they got footage of me leaving. And it's in my name. And yeah, I did that. I'm dumb. That was dumb. Yeah, but kid, let the legal process play out.
It's gonna play out.
What is the league waiting for? I mean,
the three-peat.
The league. I get the league is hypocritical. Is all I'm saying. Because anytime there was video evidence in the past, you were just going to get suspended. That's kind of always been the way it works. Now, if he's not suspended this season, ladies and gentlemen, if we do delay this and continue it to 2025, then yeah, I'm going to say Rice because he's at a great training camp.
Yeah.
It looks a lot better in terms of, operating at a quicker tempo, especially in zone coverage with Patrick. So I would say Rice, Kelsey. So those are your 2,000-yard receivers. Because of the injuries and being in the system for the first time, I would say Hollywood. And then probably the most reliable guy after that is Justin Watson.
Not Worthy?
Oh, I did forget about Worthy.
Yeah.
Well, see, Worthy's tricky. Okay, obviously I would do Worthy then Watson.
Yeah.
What I'm asking of Xavier Worthy is 700 of the greatest 700-yard seasons we've ever seen, which is over the top, on their heads, like 6-7 touchdowns that are just extremely memorable. And you're doing a lot more for Travis Kelce than your stat line suggests, right? That's, again, another reason why they selected him in the draft. I'm not asking for 1,000 yards out of Xavier Worthy. I don't think Chiefs fans should ask for 1,000 yards out of Xavier Worthy. Just give me some of the greatest 700 yards you've ever seen, because when he touches the ball, it pops, it's immediately noticeable, and you're kind of screaming, why don't they give him the ball more? But he's commanding two defenders in certain pass situations, which allows it basically leads Jim Nantz to say yet again, why is Travis Kelce open? Well, it's like, well, because he could hit Worthy for a 45-yard gain versus a 25-yard gain. But guess what? New set of downs. We just keep, matriculating the ball. So I would say, again, as of right now, based on the injury situation and the non-suspension, which is crazy, Rice, Kelce. I still think Hollywood's a more reliable player just because he's played in the league. So let's give Hollywood like 850, 900 yards, Worthy, then Watson.
Okay. I'm going to go Travis because I think Travis is not going to suffer an injury that lingers into the first half of the season right before the first game of the year. So give me Trav still, then go Rasheed, and I'm going to get spicy. Give me Xavier. And I'm buying it. I've seen enough in a short amount of time to say I get the Deshaun Jackson stuff. I buy it.
Yeah.
And I think this is a guy that changes the math for teams significantly, and it may not always be accounted for appropriately. I think Xavier's going to have a really good year. I think he's going to have a really good year. And because Hollywood Brown is missing a little bit of time, just because he's missed a little bit of time to start it off, I'll go Hollywood. But I think Hollywood will be a significant factor. But man, I'm buying this Xavier Worthy stuff. I've seen enough to say I've seen him do multiple things. Think about what they hoped for McCole. They what McCole did early in his career. They have Xavier's already shown an ability to do a lot more than what McCole could do on a vertical plane. So simply just running a vertical route tree where it's like, hey, we can run a comeback. We can run a curl route.
Yes.
We can do some of that stuff. Tyreek used to eat on a lot of that stuff when teams were so threatened vertically. You could stand up and throw him a hitch. And it's like, I think you're going to hit that with Xavier too. And we saw that he did it against TCU. I think he caught a hitch and turned it into a touchdown against TCU in college. So it's like, I don't know. I think he's gonna have a lot of space to play with. So I'm buying Xavier Worthy stock right now.
And the only factor, just to add one other part of this too, and I think this is where the pendulum can swing either way, is if Kingsley Suamata'i is, let's just say he's good, right? And all of a sudden you have Kingsley, mostly back to form, Joe Toney, obviously the other three guys on the offensive line. Now the scramble drill gets really fun. Now the extending of the plays and creating an extra second or two for Worthy to get even more open. That's the thing that I'm like, man, if that comes back, they are a spaceship again.
Yep.
Versus, hey, it's all got to be in structure. That's what felt so, I guess, mind-numbing for Patrick last year. It was like, I can't even create because these dudes aren't even running a proper route, or they're dropping the ball, or, I'm trying to just get through the season healthy because of the whole situation with Travis.
Yeah.
So if he can create a little bit more that, we're all more accustomed to from earlier in his career, then I would say, okay, maybe Xavier Worthy has more than 700 yards. But I just don't know yet, just because we don't know. I mean, we just haven't seen the offensive line.
Yeah,
all 5 guys playing together at the same time.
The Chiefs have never had a 1 through 4 in the pass catching hierarchy that they've had, like a 1 through 4. There's always a Demarcus Robinson. No offense to Demarcus Robinson. There's always a Byron Pringle.
Still getting paid.
If you've got, but like just the idea of you've always, if you know, your best personnel group has 4 guys that you're excited to see get the football and get targets. They haven't had that ever, and that's terrifying to me if I'm the National Football League.
And then you have a maniac in the backfield in Pacheco.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Carson Steele. My bad.
Oh, well, hey, a bull in a China shop.
We got a couple. We got a couple now. Right. Score 99 asks, what's the status of BJ Thompson and when is he expected to return?
Great question. He's still on the non-football injury list. The way Andy Reid described it is he's still got a couple of medical tests to go through. It is not the exact same situation as Damar Hamlin, but I do think you can take some examples from that and understanding that it may take a lot more for BJ Thompson to be a factor again. It's unfortunate. I mean, this also sucks too, because from an accrued season standpoint, for players who are young, especially when they're developmental guys, it might, they might just say, hey, it's best if BJ, is obviously around the team, but like he's not in football shape. He has taken no reps in practice. We don't know when he's going to be clear for football activities in general. So that could be, I mean, again, this is mostly like a projection, but like there was some thought that like maybe he would be cleared by like mid-October, early November, just to do like training and football activities. And at that point, you might as well just say, how about we try to find a way to get him to see if he's capable of obviously not having, another cardiac arrest. I mean, that was a scary situation.
Yeah.
And look, Damar Hamlin came back, played football. That's great. It's a utter medical miracle. And it's not as severe as that for BJ, but it's going to take, if not more of a runway for him to get back. Because he hasn't done any football activities of any kind since May.
Yeah.
And again, he might not be cleared for any football activities until November. So you're just it's unfortunate for any player to have a 6-month hiatus for a very unusual circumstance. So if you just want to be cautious and if you want to do right by the player, you should give that player more time than even necessary for him to get another chance to prove his value, which means, the entire 2024 season might be considered just a medical redshirt.
Mm-hmm. Lee87 asks, what's your favorite moment from your life that you've gotten to have with your kids?
I have one child. His name is Hayden. I think I put this on Instagram because it really was an important moment in my life. But, I don't know if you guys know this, but like, I don't get Chiefs tickets. They do not give me Chiefs tickets. Okay. Also, they're good.
People think you get Chiefs tickets. Yeah,
I cannot. Maybe if it was like 2012, then yeah, you can have as many tickets as you want.
Yeah.
But coming by tickets are difficult. They're also very good. They're also very expensive. I would encourage any Chiefs fan to look at the calendar where they are not at Arrowhead Stadium and do that. So this was the 2022 season. That was the season where Hayden, I think, really started to grasp what I do for a living, which is cool. It was my dad who taught me football, and now I'm getting to sort of relive that, teaching him football. And then Holly and I took him to the Houston Texans game in 2022. I think it was in December. It was like a Christmas present, whole thing. And the sheer amount of like emotion I had from like him waving to me from the stands while I was in the press box was pretty cool. This was during warm-ups. I think I watched the first quarter of the game with them, and then I said, oh boy, this might not be as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Like, hey son, we got these tickets because it's Houston, nice in the winter, and the Texans are terrible. If people remember, that game went into overtime. Jarrett McKinnon scores the game-winning touchdown. He immediately becomes my son's favorite player. So it was great. It was great. But that was one where I was like, that was awesome.
Yeah.
To experience that in the context of like football, my job, and then sort of the father-son things you hand down generationally. And so he will go to another road Chiefs regular season game.
Nice.
And he'll be all about is Taylor Swift gonna be there? And I said, well, buddy, she's not doing a concert around that time. If you know her tour schedule, you can kind of get an idea of where we're taking her. But yeah, that was a really cool moment to just see like my job in a very in a very cool way. Like, yes, like I travel to all these games to watch these grown men play a silly sport.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Honestly, one of the big ones for me with my oldest was that kind of similar. So last year, BJ, I hadn't seen Mahomes play until last year. So like between like I used to do pre and post game on 610, RIP 610. And then went in straight to like post game shows here at KC Sports and all that stuff. So he gave me a week off last year and Chiefs tickets. And so I got to surprise my kid with my oldest with them. And then we got to go, and he lost his mind. It was the Bears game. I think it was the first Taylor Swift game too. So we're trying to do that thing, but Mahomes came running down to the end zone during the game, and Cam just goes, I can't believe he's right there. I was just like, yes, man, like, come on, dude. So that was pretty cool. I honestly, in like our 3-year-old, like hearing him saying dad first time was like big, because he's had like a little bit more like speech stuff. And so like that was pretty big. We can probably, before we cry, Neil asks something very important. Sock, then shoe, or sock, shoe. Sock,
shoe.
Golly.
Yeah.
I can't even, Neil, we got, what are we doing, Neil?
Yeah.
Yeah, sock for sure.
Here's something that's really interesting. If you are as detail specific as I am with certain things, and just noticing, and I mean, I've been around professional athletes for a while. The athlete who does that are tennis players. Tennis players sometimes will go sock, shoe. And some of that is due to like, they change shoes during matches. Don't ever look at tennis players' toenails. They're not great. But I have seen Rafael Nadal has he's just known for all of his ticks. But yeah, he might be one of those players that goes like sock, shoe, just because it's got to be correct before I move to the next one. So cool. Yeah.
Dude, the only chance I would ever do that is like if I had my ankle taped up, I might take everything off and try to get that ankle tape off before I take their net. Like that's the only
thing. Yeah.
That like,
but like NBA players will put on, they'll get both ankles taped, then they'll do the socks, then they'll do shoes. Like they're pretty normal about that stuff. But like, yeah, I've seen tennis players like, I don't like that shoe. Get that shoe off me. And it's like, what about the other shoe? Nope, other shoe's great.
Like, that's perfect.
And you're like, what? Or I don't like that sock. Huh? Like, I gotta get this. I gotta get the right one perfect.
Aren't they like that with?
Now we do the left one, and you're like, huh?
They're like that with tennis balls, right?
Right? Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't like that one.
Nope.
Like, why? It doesn't feel good.
I don't know, man. It feels,
Okay.
Okay.
They're all the same, kind of, whatever.
Hey, just DRK, what's the earliest you should draft Carson Steele in fantasy, and why is it the 3rd round?
So I'm gonna give a quick shout out because, ladies and gentlemen, I had my annual fantasy football draft on Wednesday, the night before last night's preseason game. Right. My one of my best friends, Mike Jeffries. We've been in college. We obviously got to know each other in college. We both have kids. We live 10 minutes away from one another. It's amazing. Mike is the commissioner. So it's like, okay, we just go to his house, have barbecue. We watched the Royals game. I think they were playing the Angels. They won. Awesome beers everywhere. And I kid you not, I can't. That was a major topic of discussion. Who's taking Carson Steele in this stupid fantasy football draft? And you know who did it? Of course it was Dennis. Of course it was Dennis Jeffries, Mike Jeffries' dad, who took him. I gotta be serious. Took him in like the 7th round. We were like, wow. So I'm looking on my phone last night, right, as Carson Steele breaks another freaking tackle. And Dennis goes, glad I got him when I got him. And I was like, I mean, let's disregard that this is with the 3s and the 4s.
Oh.
But hey, man, it's better to be early than late, kids.
Dude.
It's better to be early than late. And so that was one of the best parts last night is, hey, I was saying, hey, get that kid off the field. This is after he scored the touchdown. And he said, I know. Someone also said in our chat, I should have drafted him. And I'm like, no one's had a better coming of age than
glow up. The Carson Steele glow up. He went from running a 4.71 at the NFL Combine to being the darling of the National Football League. I mean, he stiff armed some dude right into the CFL last night.
Yes. And it was mean spirited too,
bro. He hit him so hard, his jersey changed from Chicago to Saskatchewan Rough Rider. I saw the color change happen. Bro. Like, just down.
Kid. I mean, this kid. Hey, don't change Carson. Don't change a single thing. Don't change the deer. Don't change Crocky J. Don't change anything. But yeah, man, he became a darling. I mean, he was already a darling before last night's preseason game, and it's only got bigger. He's only gotten bigger. I'm looking through the text. Sleeper Steele is a legitimate text that happened last night. Sleeper Steele.
I hope so.
What are we doing?
Hey, it'd be fun. I mean, hey, if Clyde's not here, he might be RB2.
I think he is RB2. There is guys. He's RB2. Okay, get the Derek Prince out of my face. Okay, I know Clyde's coming through his PTSD, and we give him plenty of grace and respect for that. Also, Matt Nagy basically said like he's on the roster, and then he wasn't in uniform last night. So okay, he's on the roster. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen with the Derek Prince. Some people think he is gonna be on the roster. I think you can probably get him back on the practice squad.
Yes.
So the running back / fullback depth chart is Isaiah Pacheco, Carson Steele, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Deneric Prince. It's crazy. But you have to give that man touches. And oh, by the way, he can actually block, which he demonstrated against the Lions.
And catch.
And he can catch, yes.
And if Chris Oladokin throws him a ball on a swing route, he scores a touchdown last night.
No, we gotta fit one. We gotta fit it in the window, even though I'm staring Jared Wiley. I'm staring into Jared Wiley's soul.
He waited for that window to get tighter. He said, I'm gonna give me two more pats.
I'm gonna deal this thing, coach. What are you doing?
Dude, all right, so I've been comping Carson Steele. I think he's the new Darrell Williams. And not completely stylistically.
Yes, I did hear this because this was after the post-game show against the Lions where you sort of threw this out, and I was like, they are not the same player, but
what they do.
Darrell Williams had like 2 like nice seasons for his role with the team. So it could happen for sure.
I think it's like it's stylistically, I don't think they're same. And like, look, I mean, Darrell Williams is going to have a hard time living up to what Carson Steele's about to do to the National Football League. But like what I mean by that is just like if you look at like, okay, so he can pass pro. He can run a swing route and be, a capable hands. Like,
right.
It's not like he's this overly dynamic player, but if you're asking someone to do the dirty work, he's a guy that can do the dirty work. And so like that's what they're getting out of him. It's a valuable role playing RB2 that does the dirty work for the RB1. And that's fine. That's a great, if he does that, the Chiefs fans should be over the moon. If Carson Steele has 216 yards rushing this year on 50 carries,
right?
Huge win. So I just, I like him. I actually think there's some value to him. So like, I'm excited for the Carson Steele experience, and I hope it's as fun as the preseason.
I am too. If Carson Steele ever has a season that I'm looking this up now, as Darrell Williams in 2021 when he had from scrimmage he had 1,010 yards and 8 total touchdowns. If Carson Steele could do that at any point in his time with the Chiefs,
I think that would require some injuries too, right?
Yes,
or like
and being available all 17 games like that's
stability.
Yeah. And hey, I don't ever have to worry about that kid. I mean, that kid must eat weights. I mean, my God. It's definitely possible that he could be someone that Pat, almost like most Chiefs fans, kind of falls in love with, because it's just like, hey, I can trust him. I can always just dump it to him. We don't have to go super creative on like short yard situations because we could just hand it to him. Yeah, man. Look, guys, I've been here a decent amount of time. I saw Ben Neiman do it. Ben Neiman became a champion. I saw Tershawn Wharton do it. Tershawn Wharton became a champion. These are undrafted rookies who made the roster. And they found Carson Steele. Okay.
They're good at it.
Okay. Let's see it. But yeah, I just want to see a Baltimore Raven try to tackle him and just see what happens.
Oh, I would love just Kyle Hamilton.
Sure.
Bring it. Come on. Let's see what you got.
Yeah.
Let's see what you got. We're going to set the tone here. Let's see here. Casey from KC, can the Chiefs trade Toney for the same price they gave up for him? Absolutely not.
Nope. Hey, call Washington, okay? Hey, fellas, I hear that Brendan Ayuk is not being traded. Can I interest you in Kadarius Toney for a pick swap?
Can we get any defensive end with a pulse? Maybe a little player for player?
That's asking too much.
That's probably
Mr. Swanson, that's asking for too much. With the
I'm just saying, man,
Can he give us a nice bull rush? A nice little swim move?
One extra pass. Just, do you have any defensive ends that have 2 pass rush moves? Just 2. If we can advance from 1 up the arc and maybe just a little inside move off of that, that'd be great. Just 2 moves. Someone that has more than 1. Please.
The coaching staff looked at Emmanuel Ogbah and said, "This is our line because we have Felix Anaduke Uzama."
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have to overpay. That's free agency, kids. And the Chiefs are not willing to overpay for Emmanuel Ogbah because they have Felix, who, once again, was out there against the force.
Again, let down by a former TCU left tackle.
So yeah, you're just hoping that somebody wants to sniff Kadarius Toney for a pick swap. That's all it is.
I'm glad you added pick swap for a second there. The Chiefs need to hope someone can sniff Kadarius Toney.
Oh, yeah.
Pause. It was too big of a pause, Nate. You gotta.
And by the way, all the guys I love, all the guys I love as human beings, right? Obviously, I'm romantically attracted to Louis Rees-Zammit. Obviously,
Understandably.
Obviously, I love Nico Remigio as if he was my own child. And of course, Kadarius Toney is one of the most interesting football players I've ever been around. He is an enigma, and he's so talented. I cannot get over and I know some people are like, Nate, you're ridiculous. And I'm like, I understand. But guys, I watch all these practices. I've seen it. He can do anything. But then the games start. Doesn't do any of it. But also, the trade is still like amazing because one of the greatest thrills in my life is seeing that punt return.
Mm-hmm.
Just being like, how did he do that? Literally, out of like a very Dante Hall-esque, how the hell did he just do that? Like, run that replay 20 more times because I physically don't understand it.
People don't appreciate how keeping his feet on that field,
yes,
to kind of move a little bit backwards when literally everyone else is just sliding all over the field. Having the balance to be able to do that was the reason he turned that into what he did, and like that's worth appreciating. And
it's just easy.
Just getting that was probably worth the
trade. Yes, they won the trade immediately because he came onto the team and like helped them be better. I mean, one of the things that Brett Veach always, whenever I talked to him about Kadarius Toney, he's like, I mean, again, the talent is undeniable. Sure, you would love him to be a more normal human being from like a football character makeup, but like some guys are not built that way, and that's okay. He's also smart enough to tell Patrick, no, over there, Sky Moore's over there. He's gonna be open. Like Kadarius Toney did three things in the Super Bowl in 2022. He had the greatest punt return in Super Bowl history. He executed the corn dog to be butt naked open for a touchdown. And then when the Philadelphia Eagles continued to screw up, he said, nah, man, we're in the wrong formation. Hell, we might be in the wrong personnel group, but I know they're not going to cover it. Sky Moore. And Patrick goes, okay.
All right.
Oh, my God, he's wide open.
Yeah. He was celebrating before the ball was even in the hands. Yup, I got it.
It's just like, and Kadarius comes back to the sideline and he's just like, I know. They still screwed it up. Like, because they think it's coming to me. And I'm like, no, do it over there. Like, switch the responsibilities, even though we lined up incorrectly, even though we're in the wrong formation, because these dudes do not know what they're doing over there.
They had him in a blender.
Yeah, Kadarius Toney is amazing. I mean, football savvy, IQ, talent, out of the roof. But, they put him in a compromised situation, and it kind of warped his entire career. Therefore, he should have never played against the Detroit Lions. Should have never played. But because of Travis Kelce's injury, they literally had no one who could get open consistently. And then he had the worst game of his career, and he's never been the same since.
That's a thought. Casey from Casey, got a couple more here real quick before we get out of here.
Yeah.
Casey from Casey, chances of getting a deal done to keep Trace Smith?
35%?
What do you think it is for Bolton?
Zilch. Like before the season starts?
I was going to say, no, after the season even.
Okay. Okay. Look, I know I'm the person who told everybody $17 million. Okay. I was a person who said on Only Weird Games last season, like, look, man, $17 player, $18 million player. Guys, Creed Humphrey's making $18 million, okay? So if Nick Bolton gets back to who he is, he will essentially price himself out of the Chiefs market, in my opinion. 45%.
Okay.
So a chance, kind of like L'Jarius Sneed.
Yeah.
And then you realize maybe we should franchise tag him. Now, I always think the linebacker franchise tag makes no sense.
You can't do it.
Because it's because of these stupid edge rushers
that are getting labeled as linebackers. It's like, Isn't it in the 20s?
Yes. It's like $26 million or something like that. It's crazy.
We can't do that. We can't do that, Nate.
So, again, somebody in the meeting, this is how it's going to work. Somebody in the meeting is going to be like, what do we franchise tag him? And then we're gonna look. Like, somebody's gonna type it in and be like, "Nope, can't do that. Can't do that."
Hey, Nick, how do you feel about labeling yourself as a safety this year? How about we just classify? Would you mind moving to safety on the roster here, my friend?
We put a S by your name.
You know, we'll just see what happens.
Right.
All right, I got one more for you before we get out of here. H2O Keystone. Similar to Mahomes, would Nate run faster if a D-end was chasing him?
Yes. 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 Look, man, as someone who, again, multi-sport, here are all the comparisons that are not comparable. Multi-sport athlete, obviously. Someone who ran in track and field in high school, obviously. Someone who played football before, sure. These are all the things I have in common with Patrick Mahomes. I don't know if Patrick did track in high school. He was more of a baseball guy for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
I stopped the baseball pretty much at middle school because I was going to be a runner. But yeah, I would like to think that, like, if you gave me enough snaps, you would demonstrate that my 40 time just running in an empty Lucas Oil Stadium is not the same as, like, Malik Herring chasing me. That I'm the giddy ups getting up.
I like how you picked the slowest defensive end. He said,
if I'm not accurate and educational for the lovely people. If Chris Jones is chasing me, I'm curling up into a ball. Let's be honest.
Hey, Matt Dickerson got some edge rusher reps last night too, so you could have said him, I guess, on a technicality.
Yes. I think I'm faster than Matt Dickerson right now. Okay.
Tucker, clip that. We're gonna get that out there. We're gonna post that on Cut Down Day.
Matt, I love you. Obviously, you play in the NFL and I am not. You're a Super Bowl champion and I am not. I think I got a chance.
All right, that's how we're dropping the mic on this episode. That's 21 questions presented by Braden. So that's Nate Taylor. I'm Ken Swanson. We'll catch you later.